Good morning from the streets of Zagreb, Croatia.
Good morning.
We are on our way for a walking tour and possibly some breakfast and wandering around.
Lots to see and do.
Yes, it's our last day.
Sad.
We saw a little festival of what turned out to be not Croatian, but rather Polish folk dancers.
Allie, how'd you find out they were Polish and not Croatian?
They were filming something.
It's like a news crew, I think.
I don't know. They came over and they're like, and why do you like this? And I was like, I don't know, because it's a traditional Croatian experience. And the girl looks at me and she like blinks a few times and she goes, well, they're Polish. And I was like, are they really? Because how are you supposed to know?
There is no way to know.
Until the next set when they came on with a little flag thingy that said they were Polish.
And then we met by the statue of some dude on a horse.
The
name.
commander man who formed Zagreb.
Yeah. And met our tour guide Luca, who was really great and who told us about the history of Zagreb and how originally it was two hills. One was called, oh my gosh, something like churchy, and the other one was not churchy. And so the rich church people lived over here, and basically everybody else lived over here, and they had these two tiny little hills where there's a valley with a river in the middle that separated the two, and they would just stare at each other and basically fight all day long until like 1850, I believe, when Zagreb was formed.
So our tour guide was fantastic. He took us all around the city. He showed us a cannon that fires. There's no way you're not gonna jump.
I dropped this water bottle between my legs.
Whoa.
I owe you an explanation, of course. Why do we have an actual cannon firing at us every single day?
It's to mark when the church bells were all supposed to start ringing throughout the city, but now it's just a tradition that they fire this cannon at noon. We saw some beautiful churches.
And we learned some history.
This is a street that used to be the bloody bridge between the two towns on the two hills that then united to become Zagreb. And yeah, this is where people would come to settle their disputes, and it was called the Bloody Bridge because many people died here. We have stopped by the Green Market, which happens every day until 2 p.m. and gotten some fruit. I found a nectarine, Miss Caroline found a peach, and it'll be a good snack to tide us over. We got some pizzas and a salad for our lunch. Looks tasty. The original walls are here, and then the cathedral is above us. I know that was shaky camera work, but I almost dropped the camera, so I didn't, and that's what's good about it.
We went to the Museum of Broken Relationships.
Oh yes, the Museum of Broken Relationships.
They have all these different trinkets that are stories of how people broke up, either with a significant other, with a family member, with a friend, with a thought about themselves in life. Some were really kind of funny, some were really very sad. People had donated wedding dresses, and there was a parachute rig from a girl who fell in love with her skydiving instructor, who then perished in a parachuting accident. There was one of Quinn Popcorn from Boulder, Colorado. They dated for like, so they'd tell you how long people have been in relationships. This was like a 2 or 3 month relationship. They broke up. I guess she left this box of Quinn Popcorn, but the person couldn't stand to see it, so they gave that to the museum. It's just like a funny token. So there's funny things like that, and then the really more heavy things. Speaking of heavy things, somebody had dragged an entire exercise machine all the way from like Finland down to Croatia to donate to the museum. So it's, you know, anything from like old little like tokens and letters and pieces of jewelry to giant exercise machines and lamps that somehow made their way to this museum. So it's definitely interesting to see. I don't know, it kind of makes you think, like, what would you put in a museum of broken relationships? What would you want to put up there? We saw them setting up for this festival that's going to be starting this weekend that basically just looks like an Instagram festival. It's very bizarre. It takes place on like this half-size street, and everything is super cute and super fun, and there's all these like photo ops that they're setting up. So we're going to have to see what that's about. I'm kind of sad we'll be missing it because it'd be neat to check it out.
We like it a lotto. What flavor did you get?
Forest berries and pistachio.
And I got pistachio and this flavor that I couldn't pronounce the name of, but it's basically a plum cake.
Really cool city.
Yeah.
In Zagreb. We got some gelato and then came back to our beautiful apartment, and we're both pretty just tired. So had a good relaxing evening. And yeah, packed everything up, had a few little snackety snacks, and now I'm so ready for bed.
Well, this is going to be my last good morning from Zagreb and from Croatia in general. I am headed down the street to find some breakfast and then grabbing an Uber to the airport in about an hour. I have a feeling I'll be back someday because I loved it so much here. Maybe one day I'll even move here, who knows? So I got a chocolate croissant for breakfast, a plain croissant to bring on the plane with me, and I think the most important thing I'm going to do this morning is get my final gelato. So I decided to get the cranberry flavor, which is sweet and tart. So I've been seeing these vendors that sell grilled corn all over Croatia, and I finally got myself a piece, like literally 30 minutes before I have to go to the airport. So this and gelato is the breakfast of champions. It's very, very hot. They just throw it on the grill it for 5 minutes, covered in salt, and it's nice and charbroiled, so give it a taste. Hello from the Moscow airport. I was supposed to have a couple hour layover, but because my first flight was delayed and we were sitting on the ground for about an hour, I ended up not being able to hang out at a lounge or anything. This is a very overwhelming airport. It is huge. There is a lot going on. There are constant announcements being made about boarding and gate changes. But we're about to get on our flight, and then it's 10.5 hours to New York City. For Connor's Sisterly Bonding Time Part 4. Bye.